the other thing to know about is that there are dueños who are supportive of the Californios, particularly the ones that haven't been, for example, shooting and effectively enslaving them. So there's a number of diegueños have kind of decided to take it as it comes, and if we're going to be living with these people, it's the same old ranch anyway. Even if they've had to put a hacienda on it, it's still the same old ranch. So we'll 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 live here. So I'm going to. You had mentioned in your character's story that there were people who were dependent on the ranch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So that's what I'm thinking is
that's-
that the local diegueños are a big part of that, and without them, you couldn't. I mean, you couldn't run the ranch without them. That's all there is to it.
Yep, exactly my thoughts as well.
And so one thing you know about is that there's been organizing among diegueños to actually protect the Californios from the more militant bands who are now living in like badlands and stuff, places where it's really hard to get to them. They're sort of creating little forts and stuff off in these desert strongholds, and a ranch will get burned and all the weapons will be taken, and stuff like that. So it's worse over there than it is over here. It's worse to the east. So, but the organization that the locals are talking about, they're actually beginning to call it the San Pascual Pueblo, which just a few years ago has been organized to create kind of a local network of protecting the ranches as they exist today. So some of the people that you work with are part of San Pascual Pueblo, which is it's not a place, it's an organization. So what about you? What is Senor Malero, owner, the master of the ranch? Give me a look.
The master of the ranch. I think he's at the moment he's outside sitting and fixing a pair of boots and looking around and sort of seems very tired and very what do you say, disorganized, like it doesn't really know what to do. And I think this thing with his father is pretty new, so the idea that he's taking over is sort of coming on to him. So
also, is he married?
Yeah, okay. Married, two kids.
Okay, so Doña Luna is the name of his wife.
Yep.
Right. And by the way, the name of Serrano's son is Elvio.
Elvio.
Yeah. And as you say, he's living with the Ayales, the local Ayales, right? Right. Okay, so the first thing, then as you said, he was outside, kind of going around the lands of the ranch, or are you more like in a patio near your house?
I think he's in a patio close to the house, sitting down and right. Sort of fixing a pair of very old boots and sort of meticulously cleaning them and removing damaged parts and so on.
Excellent. So this is fairly, hands-on work. You don't have to do it yourself, but clearly it's something you know how to do, and it keeps you busy, right? It keeps you, gives you something to work on. And in fact, one of the people, the household people, is kind of looking glumly at the boots, kind of like, why does he have to be doing that? I could do that. But that person looks up and issues a piercing whistle. You realize that somebody had whistled a ways away and you didn't hear it. And this guy heard it, issues the whistle back to acknowledge, and kind of nods to you in kind of a pardon me, I have to I'll be right back kind of way, and goes off. Now, how are these diegueños dressed? Um, Again, sorry to the anthropologists, we are in the period when all of the things they like are gone. So that means that the diegueños dress just like everybody else. They have they're wearing the same kind of you as the rancher are going to be better groomed and better cared for than anybody, but that includes Mexicans as well, so or anybody else. So on the average, the diegueños look just like everybody else, and they are dressed like everyone else. So let's see. The look I did a little bit of looking around, and this isn't like Hollywood Wild West. So we're not seeing like battered, they're not wearing jeans. Jeans haven't been invented yet. Um, the they're not wearing, at least I don't think so. They're not wearing flannel shirts. That's hot, right? You do that when you're riding, driving cattle up in Idaho. That's when you wear flannel shirts. And this is a completely different situation. Um, but the hat that we people think of as the cowboy hat, that's actually Spanish. So you would have a nice one of nice hats, um, and the look of the time probably would certainly be a really nicely groomed beard. For yeah. Um, so the fellow comes back, having communicated with whoever had signaled to him out there, probably had ridden close to signal him. Comes back to you and says, "Senor, we have some visitors. It's Obispo and his su crocodilo, his crocodile." Um, so this is a bit of a surprise. The fellow from the neighboring ranch, Obispo, is apparently paying you a visit. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
Mildly rude in that he didn't send a message or whatever, but he can always sort of claim that he was just passing by.
Yeah, I think I've already stood up and put the boots away,
Yeah.
and just sort of waiting in with this, and I follow him to Obispo. And,
He shouts into the not too terribly, but he actually will probably not shout. This guy that you're talking to will signal. We'll go to the house and arrange for coffee.
Yeah.
Right. So by the time that Obispo rides up, somebody went out to go take their horses. And Obispo is this kind of stereotypically handsome northern Spanish Mexican guy, sandy blonde hair, and is looks just a little more prosperous than you do. The fellow with him, you well know Gutierrez. Gutierrez is known to the locals as probably one of the meanest, right hand men of any rancher around. So basically, Gutierrez gets shit done when necessary. At the moment, he's being very deferential. Doesn't stare at you, doesn't look aggressive at all. Just looks helpful, over to the side. Deals with the guy taking the horses. Politely says, take good care of them. To the horses, or to the guy taking the horses, and so Gutierrez is at the moment looks like a nice fella, unless you realize that he just threatened that guy's life.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, Obispo, right? He comes out and wishes you good morning, and thank you for the hospitality. 1,000 pardons for intruding like this. We were passing by.
Of course you were.
Yeah. So
I will come
mhm.
in and show him this, to sit down and wait until the coffee is poured on and served.
So it's kind of nice. I mean, somebody planted a whole bunch of honeysuckle, around the patio, so it smells really nice there, and it looks quite serene for a moment or two. So Obispo wants to let you know. Oops. He's come into some luck in these troubled times. That he has an opportunity to merge with other ranches, the people that want to do business with this region through their friends in San Diego. And they've got contacts at the Rancho Tijuana, and so this whole region along the coast here that we're close to, we could benefit from sort of a joint trade agreement among them. And so the principals would be bringing ships down from San Francisco, and they would be, or Yerba Buena. I'm going to do that the whole time. I know it. They are going to bring ships, and that they will. They're looking for tequila, which they actually at this time, since it's probably not branded by the name tequila, is probably just thought of as very high grade mezcal. I don't know exactly when they started using the name tequila for the liquor, but it's like champagne. It has to be from the tequila product. But everywhere else, it's mezcal. So anyway, though, they make really, really, really freaking good mezcal right here. So that is and other things that we make at these ranches. We can get in on this, but if we don't, we're too small. If we don't, we're going to be left out, and then we won't get protection, and those bastards are going to come in and burn us out, and we'll be gone. So the best route here, because you see, I've managed to secure some investment about this. If I buy out your grant from the government with your signature, nothing would change. But then this whole sector could be utilized, would be a single economic unit. So just to let you know, I mean, the great times in the future. Great times in the future, Senor Malero, for both of us.
Yeah, just driving by, right?
Well, he kind of gives a look of, you caught me. This was good news, and I think it's good news for both of us. And I think that we'll both. I wanted to let you know right away.
Yeah, we'll talk it over in the family, but and I can get back to you on this. But it's troubled times for us, and I think we have other things on our minds at the moment.
This could be the solution to everything. And he says, he looks at it and says, "Tell the boys, pretty good coffee," and then is ready to go. So he and Gutierrez you're told later that they took the long way out of your ranch, kind of taking the air,
looking around a bit. Yeah.
So that's the charming morning that you've had. I hope to have given kind of a look of, the things on your character's mind and stuff like that. Okay. First of all, is there anything you want to actually do? I mean, before I jump in with all of my flintlock revolver, my flintlock pistols blazing, before I do that, um, the question then is what might you proactively attempt, if anything? If nothing, that's okay. But let me know either way right now.
I don't think I'm doing anything at the moment.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
I think I have one thing. After he has Obispo has left, and after I have gotten word that he's taking the long route around, I continue fixing these boots and I bring them into the big house and I visit my father.
How ill is he? I mean, is he kind of?
I think we some days think this is the day, and some days we think, okay, this is weeks away.
Right.
So, and I think he's in one of those. Now it could be a week away, or it could be many weeks away.
Right.
So he's up sitting in his bed, and sort of you can awake. And I think I just want to go in there. I want to give him his boots, the ones I have fixed, and I just wanted to. I look at him and I say, "Oh, Obispo was here."
Okay, so first of all, you're with a an elderly person who's in this state. It takes, and especially in the technology and era that we're talking about, it takes a fair amount of fairly intimate labor every morning, right? To kind of keep everything cleaned and keep everything shipshape and all the rest of it. And in this particular culture, perhaps a little unfairly, he is still expected, when he's able, to be well dressed, which is uncomfortable and laborious and stuff like that. So all this time he's been getting ready. He, first of all, your father kind of flares up a little bit at the mention of Obispo and said, did we ever, did you got that cattle back from him, right? Those cattle he stole, you got them back? This was maybe two years ago, I'd say. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I have gotten this question, I think, many times. I say yes every time, but we haven't gotten the cattle back.
Oh,
yeah. But I say yes. But yeah, we have gotten them back.
Okay. So he says, yeah, look out for them. He says, I knew his father. His father was a nasty little ass kisser. So, but he says that's all right though. That's all right. You just keep they're good boys, as he refers to all of the diegueños. They're good boys. Yeah. We treat them well, and they'll make sure that if they steal any more cattle, our boys will talk to their boys, and the cattle will come back. So do it that way. What's your character's first name again? Right.
Alonso.
Right. Do it that way, Alonso. Work with the people. Don't keep those. We don't need more. We don't need any more guns and violence and problems. And he starts muttering about how it was all better before this Republic bullshit. Back when the Spanish, when we Spanish, as he said, when we Spanish were properly cutting. So he starts telling you about European geopolitics, which is, not really what's on your mind right now.
No. But I think at that point I also sort of stops with the idea of talking to him about Obispo buying out the farm, and I just keep it to myself and
Right.
nod
Right.
along, and then I leave him after a while.
Yeah,
So,
after as
if-
you're just about to leave, kind of a gleam comes into his eye, and he's sitting in a good posture and everything, right? He's
Yeah.
so a little gleam comes into his eye, and he says, "I can see something's on your mind. You handle it. You handle it. It's yours now." And kind of puts his hands down as if he's done doing things with his hands. Still
I nod,
dignified, but it's an important gesture for him. Right?
Yeah. I nod and sort of smile back at him as sort of I recognize this gesture, and yeah, I'll deal with it. So,
excellent.
And then I say goodbye.
Cool. Well, I don't see any rolls in all of this, by the way. So we're carrying on.